All right, welcome back, everybody, to part two of our interview with Hibbing's Dave Vesel. Dave, you served on as a board member for the Iron Range Racing Association.
Yes, I did.
And what did you served a position also on the board of directors?
Yes, we were, at the time, Pat Capella was the president of the association. I was the secretary of the association, and that was for a period of 1 year, I believe.
Okay. And then, so just 1 year is actually serving a position, but you were also Iron Range Racing Association member for many, many years.
I was an association member for every year that I raced out there.
Okay. What is the strangest thing you've ever witnessed at a racetrack?
I would have to say the strangest thing would be one of two things: either watching a guy go around on the hood of Rick Eggersdorf's late model.
Mm-hmm. I think we're all pretty familiar with that episode.
And I think there's a lot of people that sticks in everybody's mind. And also watching the light on the backstretch to getting taken out by a rollover.
Oh, when Norman Dale flipped on the backstretch. Yeah, I remember both of those. I was very young, but yeah, those are two very memorable things that happened. Throughout your career, both as a driver and an owner, are there any sponsors that you had that helped you out a lot?
I really only had two sponsors the whole 14 years that I was involved in racing. My first year, I had the Rex Bar sponsored me, and that was in the 72 Nova. And I was given a case of beer every week, and I had to fight for that at the end of every week.
So that was your big sponsorship from them?
That was my sponsorship.
Okay.
And then I had Fortune Bay as a sponsor for 1 year, and I believe they gave me roughly $2,500 for the year to sponsor.
And that would have been in the early 90s, I think.
That was when Steve drove the modified Formula.
So that was a pretty good sponsor back in the day.
That was a good sponsor back in those days. Yes, it was. And that was for 1 year. And then the next year they didn't sponsor because I believe they had just started the casino up when they sponsored me. It was within a couple of years of starting Fortune Bay. And then after that, everybody was asking, so they had to just pretty much tell everyone no because they couldn't sponsor everyone.
So they put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, that's the way the sponsorships go.
Are there any people that helped you, like pit crew or whatever, throughout your racing?
I had some good people helping me on my pit crew. I had a lot of family, a lot of friends. Jay Kittner, he worked with me from the time he was probably 10 or 12 years old. He started out scraping mud in the pits. Ron Bellinger, Ronnie Carlson, Wendell Adams, Todd Bettner. I mean, they're a lot of family, a lot of friends, and they put a lot of time in, and it was all just because they wanted to be around.
Mm-hmm. So when you quit racing as a car owner, then did you go back to the track at all much, or?
I would go the first couple of years I didn't race. I went to the races like every week, and I never missed a Labor Day Invitational. And then it started getting to the point where it was I wanted to get back into racing, but I didn't want to get back into it, if you know what I mean.
Get sucked into the financial.
I was out, and I enjoyed watching, but yet I would have liked to have gotten involved again in it. But financially, it takes a toll on you after a while. I mean, especially like me, I had two sponsors in the 14 years, and for $2,500 in 14 years.
Well, plus them cases of beer, Dave.
Yeah, but I pretty much paid for everything. And the last year that we raced, I went through 44 tires at $100 a tire. So
boy, racing hasn't changed much as far as that goes. Are you involved in racing at all today in any form?
Not really, no. I watch it. I go once a year, maybe twice a year, and I'll go the first day of Labor Day. But after that, I'm pretty much done with racing. I have other things going on now. I bought property, and I built a horse ranch for my wife, and I had things to do other than be at the racetrack every Saturday.
Yep, yep. Now, you had a large family that was involved in racing. Many relatives, many friends.
Yep.
The Vesel family is, well, Derek, I believe, is the third generation now racing out there, doing a hell of a job in a late model.
Yep. Derek's the third generation.
Do you go watch Derek at all?
I go, like I said, once a year, twice a year during the year, and then Labor Day. I don't go out of town watching anymore.
What is your opinion of modern day racing as compared to racing back in the 80s or whatnot?
My opinion of today's racing is that when I raced, racing was, you were given a set of rules and you had to abide by the rules. And if you could read between the lines, if you know what I mean, and find something that no one else knew, you would win. But it was all based on research and how much time you put into your car. Nowadays, it seems like racing is, what can you afford to buy for your car?
The cubic dollar.
It's cubic dollars wins now. Before it was you went to a junkyard, you bought a car from Jack and Don's or from some auto salvage yard, and you tore it apart, put your roll bars in, you went racing. Nowadays, you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars, which is fine if you have the money and you have the sponsors. But for people that don't, it's awful hard to race.
So it was a little bit more in your own hands back in the day. You could earn your speed more, maybe.
Back in the day, you determined how fast you wanted to go. And it was all based on how much time you put in the car.
Well, I will have to say, Dave, you've been a big influence on me in all my racing endeavors as far as taking pride in your work. And if you're going to do something, do a good job and do it right and keep everything well maintained. So I thank you for that. I'm very appreciative of that. And before we go here, is there anything that you might want to say to anybody that is watching this video?
Well, I would say, if you're going to get into racing, it's like any other sport. If you love it, you're going to do good at it. But in order to do good at it, you have to spend the time at it. Don't go into racing thinking that you're going to build a car and win every week, because you're not. You're going to win once in a while, and when you do, it's very gratifying. But you're not going to go out there every week after week and win every race you're in, and you're going to have days that it costs you a lot of money to go home at the end of the night.
You've had a few of those.
Because some people drive a little too fast or hit the corner a little too hard, and you just happen to be there at the wrong time. So I would say, if you're going to race, dedicate yourself to racing. Don't plan on racing and then fishing and hunting, and be a racer. Don't be a multi-athlete, because you're not going to succeed at it.
All right, Dave. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by and doing this interview with us. Nice seeing you again, and hopefully we'll see you at the track this summer sometime.
I'll be there a couple times.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye.